musculoskeletal discomfort questionnaire. This questionnaire provides data about the discomfort in different body parts. Sorry, 1 minute. So here you can see different body parts: neck, shoulder, upper back, etc. We look into different body parts and we will collect the data regarding discomfort at different body parts, regarding the frequency of discomfort, intensity of discomfort, as well as how it affects with other work. So based on the data, we'll find out some index by considering the weightage of these 3 factors, and we will find out the prevalence of MST in these workers. So we have identified the prevalence of these PEMB assembly workers and find that the shoulder part having a higher prevalence of MST, and also the secondly the wrist part and coming over to the other parts. To get more idea about the prevalence of risk, we have done that postural assessment by using rapid upper body limb assessment. Here, it provided a higher risk score of 7. That means from the identified index, we can see that 6 plus provide very high risk, and you have to implement some changes. And also it is reported to have higher risk in upper arm, wrist, as well as it is providing some risk to the neck part. We have done some interventions, and we have addressed this problem, and we have generated a sustainable workplace for PEMB assembly. So here, the intervention include an hydraulic arrangement for providing the assembly up to the shoulder level. So we have to avoid the assembly above the shoulder level. By constraining to that, we have got the risk level. We have reduced the risk level to 3, and we can see the risk level at upper arm as well as wrist has been reduced. So these type of interventions will help us to provide sustainability in workplaces. Again, I'm looking into, or I can explain, and the case in which the repetitive activity is there and will provide problems to the wrist of the person. Here, the case is regarding the spray painting work. You can see that the worker is using the prevalent hand or right hand for doing the work, and most of the time the left hand is having lesser activity. We have used another tool to analyze that. That is called that occupational risk assessment checklist, in which we thought about frequency, force, posture, recovery, and additional factors associated with the work. Here, this activity consists of repetitive nature. While he is doing the spray painting operation, let's do some repetitive actions. That is why we are choosing that particular tool of OCRA. So based on this assessment, we found out the exposure level of a person. And we have got a higher exposure level of the left hand and right hand of the person, while the exposure level of the right hand is very high. And if you look into the index, we can see that for the right hand, it has got higher exposure. It is more than 22.6, and left hand has got about medium exposure. Also, we have confined this analysis with the OCRA index. So it provides the ratio of total number of technical actions carried out to the total number of actions recommended. Here, normally the checklist, OCRA checklist, is using for a screening tool to identify the level of risk. Detailed analysis, normally we are doing with OCRA index. Here, we are also looking into the duration of activity. Here also we have got the grading of that particular index. If the index value is less than 1.5, it is optimal, and if it is greater than 9, it is high risk condition. Here also we have gone for some interventions. Here we have done 3 types of interventions. First level we have supported that particular device, spray painting device, with a hand in left side, because we identified that left hand side having a lesser activity. Then again, we will try for providing a handle in the right side, so that the total weight of that particular pen bottle is coming over that particular hand. Again, the third intervention we had done by providing some offset to the pen cup or pen bottle. We have provided some offset. Then we find out the OCRA checklist score as well as OCRA index. Here we can see that in the third case, a lot of reduction risk is there. Here for OCRA index, it is only 1.8 for the right hand and 2.4 for the left hand. So this is another example that we can have with the ergonomic assessment tool and interventions that will help sustainability in workplaces or work systems. And here we can think about a third case study. It is regarding the material handling work. Here we use the material handling of concrete blocks. In these type of workers, we find the problems with the higher problems or prevalence of discomfort with the lower back. So we have moved to another tool, that is Overco Working Posture Analysis System tool, or OWAS in short form. Here in this tool, it is addressing the poses of back, arm, legs, as well as the load. We have got the score for stacking the particular concrete blocks with a higher level of 3, and the maximum score for this OWAS is 4, and 3 is very high. And we find that for a particular level of stacking, ranging from 100 centimeter height to 160 centimeter height, the risk is lesser, risk is minimal. And we try for an ergonomic device to address this stacking operation. So for stacking of that concrete box, a specialized device that you have designed, and with this device, the score or score has reduced to the normal level. So these are the 3 case studies I would like to explain related to the sustainability at workplaces. Now here, I'm adding a point that we have tried for some automation, or we tried for some mechanization workplace, so that it give more added value to the sustainability in the workplace, and it assists the human being to do the activities. But this present scenario, or for the last decade, we have to think about the automation and Industry 4.0 revolution. So what is the technology of automation or Industry 4.0? So it is the decade or era of smart machines, storage systems, and production facilities that can autonomously exchange information, trigger actions, and control each other without human intervention. That is very important, without human intervention, because it includes cyber physical systems. Here, the mechanical device that is run by computer-based algorithms, and IoT, interconnect networks to the machines and devices. Cloud computing, offsite network hosting, as well as data backup. Cognitive computing, technological platforms that employ AI. So these are the pillars of that Industry 4.0. But here, human intervention is lesser. Well, we can say it is observed that because the increase of implementation Industry 4.0, a lot of dehumanization of production systems happens. And the society, workers, and even governments are more concerned about this act. And numerous studies draw attention to the need to include the crucial role of humans in the assumptions of future industrial development. It demands the need to humanize industry, paying attention to the aspects of sustainable development and resilience. And also, intermediately, we can think about the operator side in the revolution. So we can see operator 1.0 is the operator who is doing the manual work. And 2.0 here is using some automation. 3.0 here collaboration. And 4.0 here we can think about the human cyber physical production systems. Here we can use some assist devices for the operator to do the activities. Such ergonomic interventions we can think about. Here are some examples of that operator 4.0. We can say there is some analytical operator who is predicting the systems or predicting the events. Then augmented operator who is using some gadgets to get the information or to interact with the physical world. Or healthy operator who is using some gadgets to get idea about health conditions. So here we can think about some supporting systems for the operator to do the different activities. And finally, we can think about Industry 5.0. Here, returning human factor to the smart industry. It collaborates speed and accuracy guaranteed by the automation and humans' cognitive skills and critical thinking of human brain. The goal of Industry 5.0 is a higher standard of living and creativity with high quality, custom-made products to lead to sustainable production and consumption. It advocates human-centric, resilient, and sustainable development. Here, we can see the whole picture. The technologies in Industry 4.0 and human factor operator 4.0 and sustainability, we can club together and we can think about, and now the people are practicing Industry 5.0, which is a resilient, sustainable, and human-centric approach. In conclusion, what I can say, preserving human workforce is a prime factor in retaining sustainability of systems. Sustainable work systems can be developed by ergonomic assessment and proper design of interventions. Try towards Industry 5.0 also requires development, sustainable and resilient work systems. So that is all for my discussion. Thank you. If you're having inquiries, you can have.
The participants, if you have any queries, please ask the resource person.
Vinush, you are talking about the industry 5.0, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it started ahead or it's about to start? Because industry 4.0, we are hearing about it. And when this particular revolution has started or it is about to start?
Actually, the problem with the industry 4.0 is the investment. A lot of investment is required and it is not fully achieved. Actually, in the year 2019 itself, people thought about humanization of workplaces and industry 5.0. As a part of that, operator 4.0 come into existence. And now it is practicing in so many industries and so many case studies are available with that industry 5.0. It is purely success and it is also called that personalization revolution. So we can say the digitization is industry 4.0 and personalization at workplace is industry 5.0. And another name for that industry 5.0 is society 5.0, giving higher social impact or sustainability in the society.
So we can say that it has started and it is now started implementing, going
currently,
on. Currently,
yes, currently it is
going on.
Going on, sir.
Because this 4.0 is more popular. This 5.0 is not so popular.
No, it is not so popular. Just started. Currently.
Okay. We can say that it is just started.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Audience, if you want to ask any other question, you can ask. Vignesh, your audio is not clear. Vignesh, your audio is not clear.
Is it okay now, sir?
Somewhat okay.
Okay. So you have explained about the 5.0 and could you please relate this 5.0 with respect to the pump industry which you have shown?
So actually, if you think about the manual that is about operator 1.0, some of the sectors are there in which manual assembly is going on. Also, some of the unorganized sectors are there in which manual activities are going on. And some cases also, we cannot avoid the manual activities. But it can be automated. Then when the automation come into the existence, the allowance of 5.0 is there. You have to consider the human values and it should be a collaborative work with human and machine. So we can think about it.
Okay, sir. And one more question is, actually our students are, and also some researchers are doing some research in IIoT. Means they are trying to integrate this ergonomics with IIoT. So what is your view on this? What is your suggestion or what shall be considered before we do this?
IoT, we can use it as the device for operator 4.0. So here we can use it as a device for that assisting device for different operations or supporting device for different operations.
Okay. So while collecting this anthropometric data, so what is your suggestion and how to use this IIoT for collecting this data? Since people are doing this manually, but what is your suggestion to do this in an automated way?
So a lot of sensors are available or scanners are available. So we can utilize that. And also if you think about the small device like kinet sensor can be used to collect the data. And also we can think about simulation, which is connected with the sensors, so that the workplace can be fitted to the particular worker, like some hologram. We can think about VR devices. I think VR lab is also there.
Yes. So have you come across any inventions related to this anthropometry and IIoT, integration of anthropometry with IIoT?
No, I didn't explore that particular area.
Binosh, can you go to that earlier slide where you showed 4.0 and 5.0 integrations? Just one or two slides earlier. Yeah, it's the same. Here, where does the industry 4.0 comes into place? Because you are trying to show it is a 5.0.
So actually the technology is in 4.0.
Okay,
and human factors
that you
in operating
mean to say that it is industry 4.0. It is full-fledged industry 4.0.
Yes, we can say, sir, because actually we cannot succeed with that industry 4.0 because of huge investment, and our service sector we cannot connect that only up to the supply chain to some area. Actually, industry 4.0 is connected to supply chain activities also, other than manufacturing. We have to think about the outbound or inbound logistics activities. So, so many people cannot connect to that outbound logistics by using this industry 4.0 concept or revolution.
No, this human factor 4.0 you have told. What is it already in existence or it is going to be evolved? What does
Yes,
this
so
author
many,
say in this regard? You have given a source here, which has recently published. What does this author say with regard to that? Is it human factor 4.0 is in existence? It is going to start, or it is already there? How it is connected to the IIoT concepts or 4.0 concepts?
so that is the examples 4.0. Like we can think about some assisting devices.
But this is what the author mean to say about it here.
Yeah, so many examples are given in that source paper. This paper I have taken.
This is a different paper, right?
Different paper. For this is a paper related to that operator 4.0.
Okay.
From that I have taken the exam.
Okay. So to understand it in a better manner, we can say that human operators, all such devices, wearable device and non-wearable devices, we can take physiological information from human operator, and if it is integrated with industry 4.0, it becomes 5.0. Can we understand it like that?
Okay, some part we can address that. So actually in between the hybrid. So that is why it is explained in the last diagram. And also it is added by the particular person here, Grabowska. So actually it is a review paper in which his findings, from the review of paper, his findings you have.
No, this
given
5.0 only this author has highlighted, or you have shown an earlier author, no? He has also highlighted 5.0 is in existence.
Earlier other only told about that 4.0.
Okay, okay. Only this author is trying to propose that 5.0 has started.
Okay.
Is it like that?
Yes, he has collected so many literatures and case studies. From that, he is trying to tell the concept that Industry 5.0 can address the human-centric, sustainable, and resilient revolution.
Okay. So this 5.0 he has coined, or it is he is referring to somebody else and trying to say about it?
He has collected literature in 5.0 also. From that, he has came to
so
this
many authors are talking about 5.0 in recent literatures. That is what you mean to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also so many case studies are available inside.
Oh, it's only a review paper.
No, actually, this is only a review paper. So
Okay.
many research gap is there. You can find so many research gap if you look into this paper.
For the audience, can you brief that what kind of gap is there where they can work on that, like project work or something like that? Can you brief some example where students can take up work, because many are working with IoT nowadays.
Yes, sir,
how they can extend their work towards this?
Earlier, what I have told, IoT devices, we can have it for some operator 4.0
equipments
tools.
only.
Okay.
Okay.
Operator 4.0 devices or is an example, assistant devices.
So what do you mean to say? Already we have a polar heart rate monitor. Probably we will be using that. It's a device which is connected to a computer and it is already there into the loop. Is it right?
Okay, we can, so that is like, here it is telling about some gadgets of health operator, something like that. Healthy operator, it is healthy operator. So it will, if you are if you are an athlete, we can wear that heart rate monitor so that we can be conscious with the heart rate and your physiological state. Likewise, an operator itself is exposed to some physical work. He can wear it. He can do it.
No, my question is how this could be integrated with the 4.0 IIoT or 4.0 concepts. We are standalone getting some operator data, maybe with smartphone or polar heart rate monitor, something like that. If he is wearing, you will live instantaneously, you will get the data. After that, what should be done? Can students take up some projects on that regard?
So actually, IoT is a pillar of that industry 4.0.
Okay.
It is a pillar of industry 4.0.
Okay.
So we are using that pillar to assist that operator. Now it is integrated.
No, my question is, can some software can be developed so that whenever an operator exceeds his strenuous level of working, then it should create some alarm, create some kind of message to him, so that his limits are exceeding, or some integration, how it could be possible. What is the scope for students to take up the work?
It's possible, sir, because as an example, we have some devices to sense sleeping tendency of drivers. Likewise, we can have it.
Okay, you mean to say that driver, when he is not alert, his
so
eyes
when the blinking rate
or...
of blinking rate of his eyes will be recorded and alert to be there.
So similarly, in pump industry or any workplace industry, what kind of things we can incorporate? Can you suggest something so that our students can take up some innovative projects in this regard?
So normally, if you think about the workers, they will take rest and relax if they are getting strained. That's what happens in industries.
That's what regularly happening. That is quite
happening
normal.
That's the case.
Okay.
But if you think about athletes and if they are practicing, they are continuously doing and they are improving the physical fitness.
Okay.
They're engaging in so many physical activities. But if you think about workers, we don't see that they are regularly work with a risky rate or something like that. So while they are reaching that, they will take rest, definitely.
Yeah, that is a different. After they complete the task or in a break time, if they are taking rest, that's a different issue. But during work, attentiveness, or if they lag it up, how could we monitor? For example, nowadays, more of CNC machines or automation machines are coming up. So the role of the operator and his attentiveness, how to be monitored and how it is to be integrated with the latest concept. Can you throw some light on that?
So actually, if he's wearing, main problem is that in our case also another project I have done with these drivers, and for connecting that heart rate variability with the sleepiness. In the
Okay.
study, what happened is that we told the drivers to wear that heart rate monitor.
Okay.
And he is wearing it for 68 hours. It is very difficult and it makes some discomfort to the person. Such a wearable devices like heart rate monitor. Chest belt is there because sweating is there and he feel discomfort. So it is very tedious to wear such devices. Other than that, if you think about some IR devices or something like that, if you get that heart rate or some of the physiological parameters, it's very easy. Such IoT devices that we can, if you are available or if you make it, such a sensors, if you are using it, it's very easy to identify the problems as well as we can give the alarms. That may be better than the wearable devices. We can think about that point of view. Now also the temperature sensors are available without interaction with the people. Now in the COVID days, normally we are doing like that. Such devices should commit distance.
Okay.
So that it gives comfort to the people while taking readings, or it won't give any discomfort.
Okay. Can we integrate this with the simulation part so that the entire workplace is simulated and it's already assessed? And after assessing, we are trying to implement in the industry. Can that be called as a 5.0 component of a 5.0?
Simulation is not the real practice, sir. So how?
So it cannot be told like that.
We cannot say that.
Okay, okay. So whatever is real-time data collection, or it is a sensing that, and if you are integrating, we can call this as a 5.0.
Now, if you're integrating such pillars, we can say that we have done some part of 5.0. So many case studies are there, sir. I'm also not explore more. It is available and we'll get more idea about it.
Okay, okay. Why I'm trying to say that is because more students have logged inside and they are in the final year or pre-final year of that nature. They would like to take up some projects with related to that, because already they are doing some work which are related to ergonomics, which are almost traditional in nature. So if they are trying to take up some kind of work, which the title, if it is attractive, the title which you have told is very much related to them, the 5.0, because 4.0 means everybody are attracted. Once you say that it is towards that particular 5.0, they will be more clear in what to be extended, how that particular work which already they are committed, if they are extending towards that particular 5.0, it becomes a pillar of 5.0, because normally you can't say it is a 5.0 extension. So if this clarity may be giving to them, so that that word 5.0, they can use it in their project work, title them, coin in an appropriate manner, so that their work will be very well appreciated. Once you say something new in that particular title or in the content of it, the curiosity of getting the knowledge will be very high. So that is where I'm repeatedly asking questions towards that. I'm not saying that you have explored and you have worked towards that. Probably we are in the learning phase. You told that 5.0 is only just starting up. Probably our young students can pick it up from this particular point of time and try to take on the advantage of the newness which it is coming up. So it is your session gave us a very good opportunity for our students community just to learn what is meant by 5.0, industry 5.0, because all these days we are all hearing about only 4.0. Of course, with industry and their developments, their roles and all that, we are always hearing to it. But this area where Institute of Engineers have given us the time to think about it, the sustainable, the role of engineers, all these things are there. Probably it's an eye opener for all of us to take up this particular task. And moreover, some students are new to this particular field. They will learn about what is meant by ergonomics and how it is more important for a sustainable development. Because sustainability is a very important role to be taken up by all engineers, because whatever we do, it is only for the role of a normal working. It will not give a sustainable develop conditions. So whatever we try to do, we have to think about that. Moreover, the participant whomsoever they are there can make use of this particular concept of 5.0 in their own industrial workplaces or in whichever the places where they are, and integrate them with their own working culture. This session would have been useful for them. I stand with the Institute of Engineers State Center and local chapter, Coimbatore local chapter, in thanking Binush for giving us a very good eye opener for this particular session. In his busy schedule, thank you, Binush, for accepting our invitation and being with us for giving us a very good eye-opener session for that. It's a thought-provoking. All the engineers and the student community think about this particular concept. Whatever projects or whatever work which you are integrated with that, try to make use of this session and try to use it in your own way. How to make the environment sustainable and give it to the next generation people to work on. Okay. Thank you, Binesh, for the excellent session. Thank you. Probably the next session will start in a short file. Thank you all. We'll wait for the next speaker to enter inside and take over.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Binesh.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
thank you,
Vignesh
sir, for giving the opportunity.
Yeah, it is the State Center has given us the opportunity. You can thank them formally. It's your time. You can do the thanking part of it.
Okay, sir. So I am very thankful to the State Center, Tamil Nadu of Industrial Engineering State Center, IE State Center, as well as the Coimbatore Center for giving me the opportunity. And also I am thankful to the PhD Tech for reaching this position and supporting me in my endeavors. And I am thankful to my supervisor, Dr. G. Madhavan sir, for giving me the support and giving me the opportunity, as well as I'm thankful to all for giving the opportunity, and I'm also thankful to the audience for listening me for about 1 hour the session. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vignesh, sir. Really, it was a very wonderful session. So having you as a chief guest is our a privilege. So we'd like to thank you formally for your wonderful presentation. So next, it's my privilege to introduce the second speaker of the webinar, Dr. Sangeeta Pandit. Dr. Sangeeta Pandit did her MSc in Human Physiology with specialization in ergonomics from University of Calcutta in 2006. So in 2004, she got PhD in design from IIT Guwahati. From 2013 onwards, she is working as an assistant professor in IIT DM Jabalpur in the Department of Design. So her research interest includes design, ergonomics in biomedical engineering, agricultural ergonomics. She is also a life member of Indian Society of Ergonomics, Indian Science Congress, and active member of International Commission on Occupational Health and Indian Association of Occupational Health. So she has both national and international publications in reputed journals and international conferences. We welcome you, madam. So we welcome you to deliver a session, and the session is yours now.
Thank you very much. Am I audible or my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's perfectly okay. Just presentation mode, you can go in. Your full screen is visible.
Yeah. So there is some internet issue. So can I switch off the, switch off my camera?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. So before I start with the presentation, I would like to thank you, thanks to one and all, for giving me this opportunity to deliver a lecture on the centenary celebration of Tamil Nadu State Center. Especially, I would like to thank Dr. Madan Mohan sir for giving me this opportunity to deliver a lecture on a topic which we should think about. So from our birth, from our childhood in India, we were taught to worship the nature. Nature is referred as mother in many texts in India. We understand long ago what nature provides is better than what we can. Survival is impossible without her grace, yet her gifts are always free. That may be the reason we humans take things for granted, and we humans are destroying the nature in one way or the other. The terms which we use, sustainability, green design, is nothing but teaching us again our age-old traditional practice, preservation of nature and restoration of the natural systems. Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Sangeeta Pandit. I am a faculty of design of PTPM IIIT Jabalpur. Today, I am here to deliver a lecture on ergonomics for sustainable design. This is a very interesting topic, and while preparing this lecture, I found that there is a very scarce literature. So there are lots of opportunities in this sector. So when we talk about green ergonomics, it is defined as ensuring human and natural system well-being through understanding the bi-directional relationship between nature and human system. It is not possible to have sustainable well-being and effectiveness when natural environment gets degraded and depleted. The green ergonomic acknowledges that the planet as a whole is a closed system, such that a disruption in one part of the system will inevitably have repercussions for other parts of the system. Therefore, bidirectional relationship with the natural environment, human influence the health of their natural environment and the health of the natural environment in terms impact on the health and well-being of the humans. So when we talk about the ergonomics, we always work at a systems level. It can be a very simple system like man and a hammer, man and a tool, or it can be systems like a car where we use man, machine, and the environment like traffic signals, the car passing, and many more. Or it can be a even more complex system like a nuclear power plant, where man, machine, safety aspect, environment, and so many complex information systems are involved. So sustainable development is usually considered to have environmental, economic, and social dimensions which should be balanced and jointly optimized. The role of ergonomic is the scientific discipline concerned with the understanding of the interaction among human and other elements of the system to optimize the human well-being and overall systems performance. When we talk about ergonomics and sustainable development, it is always human-centered approach because it is concerned with the joint optimization of the elements of the complex socio-technical systems, implying that ergonomics could play an important role in assisting the transition to sustainable development. Human system integration model looks at ergonomics from the view of a user-centered approach to design and display a complex systems. If we see that there are different models in the literature to express sustainability. One of the main model is the three pillar, also called the three circle model or the triple bottom line model. So this triple bottom line or TBL model is a classic example of how traditional ergonomic intervention fit on this trial interventions, including the design. Design efficient systems like eco-efficiency, ensuring the health and safety of the humans in the system, that is socio-efficiency, and the usability of the system by the people, that is socio-effectiveness. So I will be discussing about this triple bottom line with some case studies later. So from the definition of the World Commission on Environment and Development, it can be stated that when ecological, economic, and social well-being is simultaneously achieved, providing a truly sustainable form of progress is possible. Sustainable process do not only work for the environment, but also protect and maintain the human well-being. Duell et al. In 2012 denote that performance, example, productivity, efficiency, effectiveness, quality, innovation, flexibility, systems like safety and security, reliability, and well-being, example, health and safety, satisfaction, pleasure, learning, and personal development can be achieved by fitting the environment to the human, and human factors can be balanced by these two systems. So now we find that due to the constraint of space, multi-purpose furnitures are getting evolved. And the use of the multi-purpose furniture in design, where anthropometry plays a very crucial role. So this led to anthropometry in designing for sustainability. Parkinson et al. In their study have identified that there are three ways in which data and techniques from anthropometry can generate sustainable design: by reducing the raw materials consumption, by designing the appropriate for the user population, increasing the usage lifetime by accommodating the future trends. We all know that transportation is another major areas of energy use and environmental impact, where significant efforts are being directed at improving the efficiency and reducing the consumption. A greatest example of this is a Dabbawala. So a Dabbawala of Mumbai, where they use transport like bicycle, local trains with different barcodes. So they are, you see that they are never been hardly one or two cases there, but it is an error-free system. Simply with the help of some communication code, they transfer the dabbas to the exact location. And here, due to the use of the local transport system, the energy use and the environmental impact is minimized. Another area where ergonomic plays an important role is in the agricultural sector. So with a change in the climatic condition, there are lots of effects being observed in the agricultural sector. Due to the excessive rain, heat, there is a change been observed. So ergonomic study in this sector with the change in climatic condition is very important, because the studies which are being done in this particular sector were a bit different. If we see the paddy harvesting technique has been changed due to this climatic condition and the tropical rainfalls. So there needs to be looked out this particular sector. So how ergonomic design is sustainable in India? So if we see that there is a degradation of the natural environment, we all know that there is a cubicle workspace which we are now accommodated with. We are all used to work. So, and hardly there is any chances to see the external environment or the any greenery outside. So how effective it will be for us to work in this environment for a long run? So degradation of the natural environment has also been linked to the serious negative human health and well-being effect, including increasing the respiratory problems, cancer, immune system defects, birth defect, as well as global warming effects. Degradation of the natural environment has led to a serious negative implications for the psychological well-being and even problems in the human development. It starts from the schools, that when we see that creativity, thinking ability increases in the natural setups. So this type of, we all know that Vishwavarti, which was being introduced by Rabindranath Tagore, it was a environment, open space environment below the tree where the students were being taught. But now we landed up in classrooms with the digital setup. So according to this docket sheet, 2002, we found that work that meets physical, psychological, and physiological limits of human functioning and that allows sufficient rejuvenation opportunity, that means that recreation and rest is sustainable. As adults, there's a growing evidence that we perform better and have a higher measure of psychological well-being when the restorative properties of the nature are available. So if we see that we take a break, we go for a vacation, our performance increases. So these are the effects of the nature, which as the humans we are, from the childhood, it has been incorporated within us. When we talk about green ergonomics looks at the way to incorporate restorative and creative properties of the nature into the design of workplaces. This is evident that inspiration can be drawn directly from the nature, a field of design known as the biomimicry. More time in nature means greater opportunity for physical activity, psychological restoration, and social interaction with the broad diversity of people. So another example of biomimicry design is the bullet train. So these are some of the examples how nature influences our design. Nowadays, we see that in many of the localities where we live, that there are hospitals are being located in the in a crowded environment next to which there is a residential plots and so on and so forth. So bio waste, and it's recyclable, is also impacting the environment. This is another sector, the traffic signal, how the design of a traffic signal could reduce the motor vehicle emission and the fuel consumptions of the vehicle it can be a thought out that how engineers can help in this impact with the help of the design so that this problems could be sorted out. There is another examples of sustainable design is the cradle to cradle design. In ergonomics, we say that productivity refers to the output of a given product or service within a given framework. Eco-productivity in ergo-ecology consider the balance of output with the input over a long term. Eco-productivity is achieved when system remains in the equilibrium over a sufficient long period of a time. Example is a cradle-to-cradle design where a life cycle approach is used. Either it can be disposed, returned to the nature, or another life cycle of a product can be done with this help. So as I have told you at the beginning that this triple bottom line model can be used with the help of, I'll just tell you a case study. So nowadays, if you see that the effect of globalization had led to a rapid change of the unorganized sector like bark print, handicraft of Madhya Pradesh. In the handicraft workforce is one of the single largest production cost in India. Earlier, this handicraft products were during the artisans used to produce these artifacts during their leisure time, and there was no time constraint. But now, with the commercialization, there is a demand of finishing a task at a specific time frame. But the microenvironment, that is their immediate workstations, are not modified, or the tool they use are all traditional. Lack of awareness of the safety culture at the work led to severe injuries and accidents. This health hazards demotivate the artisans, led to an increase in the observations, and finally a job loss. As handicraft is a home-based production unit, young children of the artisan's family assist the seniors and develop the craftsman skill from a very early age. While reaching the adolescent, they become a highly skilled artisans. Rural-based industries work together to get the benefits equally and strong their social well-being. Artisans who become a burden due to injuries or due to the chronic pain become a burden for the family and for the society. At the same time, experienced artisans loses the workability and cannot train a new artisans. So these difficulties directly affect the economy of the society where artisans are the active agents. My next case study is on the thelawala. So more or less, we have all seen this thelawalas. Hand pull carts are the backbone of the non-motorized transportation of the goods in any wholesale market or in any in big markets we see. So these two-wheeled hand carts are observed transporting tons of goods by balancing the huge weights on this two-wheeled of the cars against traffic conditions, ascending, descending roads. So this high physical stress led to work-related injuries and the health issues among these hand cart pullers, resulting early retirement and the financial burden on the family and the society. So this study specifically shows how Green ergonomics suggests understanding the need of the local ecosystem is required. Indigenous solutions encouraging participating approach, how it can solve the local solutions. So these are some of the references of the photographs which I have used from different sites like Google Images. And these are the photographs from the loyalty-free sites. So these are the references which I have used. Thank you.
The session is open to the audience for any questions. If at all they have, you can raise the questions. Madam, one question from my side.
Yes,
You say that it is all sustainable or green development and all. When it comes to engineers or in manufacturing industry, how could we adopt these concepts into that? Because it's a mass production like of thing. We are all involved in such kind of environment wherein we always see about the steel, iron kind of things, where that is also recyclable. We can't say it is totally hazardous to the environment. Can we say that is also coming under that particular category or something like that? Or how different it is? Only we have to use wood or natural products. Is this kind of degradable materials also come under that, or how could we classify and cut off the boundary line onto it?
Sir, as this is also a very new topic for me.
No, it's a general. Already we are into it. It's a generic discussion only. I'm
sir,
not.
But as I have to a small knowledge, what I have that nowadays the output of the steel industries are being used for the metal road constructions. So this type of recycling of the waste is being thought about. And previously we used to know that the role of the ergonomist is at the end, usually at the end of a life cycle of a product. But nowadays, with the green ergonomics, this approach that ergonomics role should be at the beginning of a life cycle, so that this type of problems could be sorted out. It is not only that use of metals, but if we can use effectively the life cycle of one product, which means without been discarding it into the environment. If so, this I just given you an example of a cradle to cradle design. So this products from waste. So these are very new concepts which are coming up, where when one life cycle of a product end, it can be transformed to another. It can it can be a starting point of another life cycle of a product. So these are some of the concepts which are being evolving, and these are some of the concepts which designers are also working on.
So probably whichever we are not wasting it or putting back into the earth, we are able to recycle it, then we can call it as a green design.
It can be recycled also. Okay. So the examples which I given you, that it is not a new concept, sir. This is an age old, as that the first slide where I have told you that this buzzword sustainability is, we are adopting it from the Western culture. But this was here from the very beginning. We were being taught about worshipping the nature from the very beginning. So use of clay products like clay plates, clay things. So it can go back to the nature. It can be degraded. It can be absorbed by the nature. But use of plastic cups, plastic plates, thermocol plates, which is not degradable. So this is nothing a new concept. This was an age-old concept which was there in our society. But somewhere we have forgotten, and now we are again adopting those things from the Western culture.
See, that is the whole nature concept. Whatever we try to take it as outdated, we throw it out. Again, it is asking us to reuse it. Again, this is a concept of green revolution, we can call it up. Just plastic somewhere, it came inside. I don't know how it stuck inside, but it is still, we are with that. We cannot rule out of it.
We cannot.
Probably it is a byproduct of a petroleum. After the stoppage of usage of the petroleum, it will naturally deteriorate, I think, because it is only a byproduct. It cannot sustain on its own. Plastics, after a due course of 50 years or so, when we reduce the product of petroleum into usage, nowadays electric vehicles are coming, or hydrogen vehicles, probably the usage of petroleum will go at a very low rate. During that time, we cannot even get the plastic. It will be a scarce material. Probably we can say it was a historical thing, maybe after 50 years or so, or long duration, people will historically say that people were using plastic as a material which was hazardous to human. That could be the statement at a later stage, but from now on we have to stop using that, because
But
that
I was just going through a few days back. I was going through some research articles where they have invented some chemicals or something, natural elements which they have collected in the plastics they have collected in a bathtub, and they are using this type of it can be a natural or some chemicals. I could not recall at this moment, but it is degrading the plastic.
It's a good news, ma'am.
It is. I've learned, but somewhere or the other, it has been published also in Nature or somewhere. At this moment, I could not recall exactly.
Okay. It's a good news. So if it is degradable into the, we are giving back into the earth, then that's okay. Right now, the problem is with the plastic or any bottles or glass materials is not degradable. So we need to take care about that particular part of it. It's okay. Probably the design of that we are able to do, but manufacturing, from all our people are in the manufacturing engineers, plastic manufacturing is again a hazardous point. Its fumes will be very high. At the same time, designing the die part of it and seeing the first product itself is a very tedious task. When you design a component with the plastic component, the first component you cannot see it in the day. You have to forego for many processes like dies and other things which you have to design, manufacture that, and once if it is all set right, then it can be put into the mass production. That is the problem. Seeing the first component will take time, but seeing subsequent component is no time. You can produce it like mass productions. So that is the poorness in this particular design. But nowadays polymer and the usages are extending its usage in all the things for one reason, madam. It is something like less weight. Because whenever we think about metals or any other products or any other materials, the excess weight will come inside.
And
people,
it can be stackable,
yes, go ahead,
like
go ahead.
just like chairs. If we use wooden chair, and if we use plastic chairs, it is stackable. It can be mass produced, mass manufactured. Yes. So these are the advantages of the plastic products, and it is low cost also.
Yes, ma'am. Last week I was able to see a furniture manufacturer in Coimbatore who was selling the foldable chairs. You would have seen earlier days, before the plastic chairs came into existence, you could have seen a steel variety of a foldable chair manufacturing. It was very popular in this particular region. We every functions and all, they used to fold and stack it and keep it into use.
In
Once if
a
it is,
plastic or it's a metal, sir?
it's a metal chair, madam. It was before this plastic chair came into existence. It was a very simple design. It was called as a foldable chair only. You could see in all the functions and everywhere you can fold and stack it one over the other. The manufacturer sold the dies and other things because he did not even get any order. Even though it is cheaper today, people are not preferring to go for it. One is a cheaper, then it's light in weight also. You don't say that it is heavy weight also. Every plastic chair weighs 2 kg. This particular foldable chair also equally less weight only.
Then why people are not going for it?
It's newness. Plastic or this particular concept is a new concept which is coming in. It has lost its charm. Even though it's a metal, steel, you can recast it. If you sell it again, the plastic chair you sell it, it will be only 10 rupees or 20 rupees. Scrap rate only it will go up. But the steel is not of that kind. As the rates increases, you can go ahead with that. The culture is not accepting to it. Even though it is cheaper, the design was available in tradition. In a function, if you try to put up a foldable chair, people don't accept it. You are into the old generation people. The culture tries to demand a lot, going towards the newness part of it. Probably there, this kind of products has to be eradicated. Over a due course of time, maybe the time will say the scarcity will come to the plastic, then people will come out at that particular point of time. These kinds of traditional products will find a place. Probably if you are able to do a mass production of it only, you can come out of it, madam. Or else this kinds of design will again will be stuck up in the designer's hand. Instead of extending towards the user's hand, we will have to again and again redesign, educate the people to go ahead. Maybe we pray for the God that some other hazardous material do not invent ourselves into this particular field and say that it is not at all degradable and we are trying to use that particular concept. If such materials are not coming in, probably we will be in a safe environment. What is your comment, madam? What are all the materials probably which may come in the near future, and how designers have to take care of that?
At this moment,
yeah, it's only a futuristic question, guesswork. Probably your comments on that will enhance some knowledge.
Sir, though we say that we should use the natural materials, but suppose example of wood. Yes. If wooden chairs natural, which is natural, of course it is degradable. If we think about using the natural thing, then it also we are affecting the nature.
Yes.
So it is really a very sustainability. We use this word sustainability, but with the population, with the increase in populations, it is really very challenging aspect that how this sustainable aspect, the balance between the nature and the humans, how well it can be incorporated so that the nature is not affected and the human beings also have a effective lifestyle. So somewhere or the other, what way or what means we are designing, but it is either if we are using the natural things, we are also affecting the nature. And even if we are not using also like plastic things, we are not using natural things, again that we also are affecting. So population, with the increase in the population, it is very challenging how to maintain this sustainable aspect. So though we use the word sustainability, but I personally feel that population, with the increase in population, it is really very tough situation to make a proper balance with the aspect of sustainability, no matter what materials or what things we choose. Somewhere or the other, either we are taking it from the nature, or we are dumping it into the nature.
True, madam. Whatever we are trying to, as a designer or a manufacturer, we are trying to put efforts and redo it. If the population is growing in this particular rate, probably demand will keep on rising. And if the demand is rising, these kinds of natural materials may not give us support for that. It is for
and sir, one thing is that after a long use of plastic bags and all those things, certainly when government stops the use of this plastic bags, if you see that in many of the things we are so much used to, that we cannot think about the alternative of the use of plastics in those particular sectors, that how we are going to, suppose like some liquid products, it is jute, how those jute or natural materials can be effectively take the use of the plastic. So this is really very challenging because over the time we are so much used to the use of plastic, so it is within one certain date it is really challenging for us, all of us, to find an alternative solutions for it.
Yes, ma'am. That too, very specifically, you have told liquids. We don't have any solution as on date. Milk packages or any such packages, if you want to go, we have to depend on that. Probably the scenario which I was telling, when scarcity for plastics are coming in, we will not be having a material for usage. Probably we'll have to invent a new concept into it. Probably nowadays the new biodegradable plastics varieties are coming in. I don't know the sustainability of those things, whether it will hold that particular quantity or weight in regard with that. It has to be explored over time. Probably some kind of a study. If you try to do that, it may evolve at a later point of time, which are a byproduct of the agricultural waste or something like that. They are trying to convert into bioplastics. And nowadays, the plastic bags are coming in that particular grades, so that we can think about those things of using in that particular perspective. Where again, quantity makes the difference. For this population group, we will not be able to supply from those kinds of products which we try to talk about, because they are very preliminary in nature. Very small quantities are being produced nowadays. If you are interested also, if you try to order for that, you can't get it. Here in our places, that palm tree type of thing, plates and all are now coming in. But when you order for a large quantity for a function or anything like that, we don't have solutions for that. Only for a small quantity of natural materials, they'll supply. If you exceed for a big quantity, then probably they'll raise the hands and say, no, it is not possible to manufacture. So availability of such natural materials becomes an important task. Maybe it's good that attempts are being made. Good attempts, good number of attempts are being made. We are trying to reinvent the materials which were used earlier. Of course, it is ergonomically viable only. How much we are able to manufacture that and how much we can meet the demands of the people, that becomes a very big challenging task. In mass production and all, it cannot be thought about it. So probably, which you have highlighted, the usage of plastic and making that as a degradable and giving back to the earth. One thing is reusability. If you are able to reuse it, whatever you have used it, then that's fine. As far as you don't give it back to the earth or you don't spoil the environment, that's okay. To some extent, we are managing the environment, and you don't give it up. There again, the number of cycles which you are trying to do is a constraint, madam. Looking into the manufacturing perspective, the property of that material loses as you try to remelt it and remelt it again and again. So additives you have to add up more, and you need to enhance that material to keep it live for number of recycles, because nowadays it is possible to recycle, but how many times you are able to recycle, that becomes a problem. And that recycled material life is so bad, you can't expect the life of that particular material for long duration after putting in lot of effort and redoing it. And if that cost is going up and if its life is coming, then we
no
cannot
use.
put that particular part into usage. So there are so many challenges.
Hmm.
Probably this discussion will throw light for all our engineers and the students over here to work on this particular area. That is the whole
It's a
objective
very
of.
challenging, it's a very challenging topic and challenging area.
Yes. So the students could take up this kind of work from all the side, engineers and designers, all put together. They have to work in this particular regard to bring a good material probably. And of course, user point of it, they have to use it at a safer level. How much we have to use, and are we using to the full extent? For example, if a plastic bag or something like that is available, are we using to the full extent for its entire life? No, we are once use and we throw it away. We have to see that it is used for long duration, so that the number of recycles of that products will be reduced. As a user awareness also to be taken into account, that probably only governmental agencies or NGOs or such kind of things only are possible. Nowadays, the AICT is also trying to bring in some concept like asking the students to go into the field and try to find out solutions for that kind of things. Probably this Institute of Engineers would have given such topics to us to debate on that and discuss on that, is towards that only. This is going to be a very big challenge, sustainability or giving what we had in earlier generation, we have to give it back to the next generation. No? Earlier generation, few generations away, they did not have this product at all, like petroleum or products they were not having. Now we have consumed a lot. Now we are not giving anything to the next generations. We have consumed, it is over. So next generation people will not have such a product at all. Say for 100 years from now on, if you say that plastic or petroleum product or anything you name which you are using today, which may not be into existence those days, which we have consumed, it's over, that's all. But that was not the scenario a few million years ago. Whatever they were using, still we are using, still it is there. That is what they call it as a traditional thing. So this particular 100 years or 200 years, we have derailed from the traditional practices. That's the cause for all these problems. We want new things, we want to do everything faster, we want to go at a fast rate. Even the bikes and all these things, if you try to see, people want to travel at a faster rate. They are not ready to spend few minutes for the traveling at all. They want to reach the destination at a faster rate. Today's youngster is very good in that particular aspect. Probably these kinds of thoughts, I'm not against faster aspects, but at what cost? What is that you are burning? You are burning fuel and giving to the environment. You are using plastic.
They are not stopping the when we the example which I was showing, that in the traffic also they are not switching off the fuel because they have to go.
Yes, they are not
the
ready
green
to.
light is on, and
Yes,
they will they need to move. So this type of things are really challenging and for the sustainable aspects for the society as a whole.
Yes, ma'am. It's very true. Whatever you have shown as a slides, it's very true that we have to find solutions for all these things. That's the challenging task in front of us. Probably we both are talking. We have to give chance to others also. Probably others can also raise some questions if at all they have.
Yes, madam. So Vigneshwaran here.
Yes,
so I have two questions.
Yeah.
So my first question is, you have shown some biomimicry design and the example of bullet train. So could you please show some more examples that could use this biomimicry design that has been developed using this biomimicry design?
Biomimicry is nothing but inspiration from the nature, which nowadays we lack this type of even if we see that we are very much focused to developing something copy paste type of things from the net, and if we explore the nature, nature teaches us a lot of things. So the example which I have shown you is a bullet train. This is a nature inspiration design, or at this moment,
Yes, madam. My second question is, you have explained the role of anthropometry in sustainability. That is, you have given a multi-purpose furniture as an example. Then, in this connection,
I'm not been able to hear you.
Am I audible now?
No.
Am I audible?
Nish, your voice is low.
Now
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, sir. Yes, madam. Am I audible now?
No, not your voice is still low. Can you set right it, or you can come over here and ask? By the meantime, I'll ask the participants to fill in the feedback forms which has been shared in the chat box. Only when you will be able to get the certificates. So audience, please fill in the feedback forms before you exit this particular meeting. Yes, if you are comfortable, you ask, or you can come over here, Vignesh.
Yes, sir. I think now I'm
now it's okay.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So you have asked, you have explained about the role of anthropometry in sustainable design, and you have given an example of multi-purpose furniture. And in this connection, you have also explained about the dabbawalas and how you are relating this dabbawalas, that the environmental impact of dabbawalas is reducing. The environmental impact is reducing by dabbawalas.
Suppose if we are talking, means though Dabbawala's service design is very different from the Zomato system, but if you see that Zomato, or we place orders to McDonald's, so what they used to do, they used to deliver the food items at an individual level, and they use their bikes usually. But if you see the Dabbawala of Mumbai, this is a very classic examples which are also been taught in the Harvard Business School. So how effectively they use the local transportation system. If you see that they use bicycles, which has a zero oil emission. So then they use the local transportation, like local trains, and they have a code system, communication code system, that if they are going to the Western Railway side, they have a code like W. If they are getting in this particular station, they have this type of code. And there is a almost zero error-free networking system. And they are very, this type of networking system, if you see that, this is a very classic example where the transportation system on which we basically depends on, they use the minimum emission rate to the environment. So this is the example, that is the reason I've just given, that how to reduce the this type of emission rate to the energy, use of energy, and emission rate to this environment.
Yes, madam. Actually, I have also seen your paper for as an example for TBL case study. So could you please explain on that?
Which one?
TBL case study.
Which one?
That International Journal of Pure and Applied Physics. You have shown an example.
That bark print,
Yes.
bark print you are talking about. Huh?
Yes, yes.
So this actually, this bark print or any handicraft, not only bark print, I'm talking about any handicraft sector. If you think about, previously what used to happen, that this type of craft sectors, they used to have their production at a leisure time. There was no time bound concept. But with different commercialization, now we see that handicraft products are also being sell at e-commerce sites, and by government policies and all those things, this age-old professions are now being commercialized. So there is nothing harm in the commercialization. Of course, their productivity is increasing. They are getting the opportunity of earning. But the thing is that, but their way of practicing, that is the traditional tools they used to use, the workstations they used to use, these are all age old. Suppose when you are using, you are spending only half an hour time for any particular production, that type of workstation, and when you are spending 12 hours, 18 hours of work, that workstation should be different. Else what is happening, that due to this jugaad type of workstation, which I have just shown you, that this type of workstation is actually creating this type of workstation is actually creating lots of problems with their health. Musculoskeletal problems they are developing. So they are also developing this type of, if you see this particular thing, like they are developing this problems of, I mean, just I was just showing. They are also this when they are constantly hitting the with this wooden hand blocks, this cumulative trauma is developing in their wrist area, and this resulting lot of pains, as a result of which they are just either they are quitting the job because of this, they are not being able to do the quality production. Quality production is one of the important thing for any of the handicraft sector, because when we buy a particular handicraft things, we more emphasize on the quality rather than the quantity. So people are ready to pay a good amount of money for the handicraft sector due to this quality. But when we are seeing that this due to this type of hand related injuries, they are not being able to give their 100% in the production, and it is affecting the society in a way that this trained or skilled artisans, they are losing job and also workability because of maybe due to the chronic musculoskeletal problems, or due to accidents, because nowadays in many sectors they are using the power tools. So use of power tools in the industrial sectors, if you see that there are certain criteria, you cannot use power tool continuously, there should be some rest hours. So they are not being trained with these things, they are not aware of this type of knowledge, that how long they should use, and in order to meet up the productions or deadline, they are using this type of things, and they're actually developing this hand-arm vibration syndromes. So resulting, so what is happening, they are using the workability, they are getting, I mean, any type of accidents or this type of things, they are losing the job, as well as this type of handicraft sector is a very home-oriented business profession. So this the artisan's family, like a small kid of an artisan's family at a very young age, they learn this type of professions from a very young age when they are in schools, seeing their elder brother or seeing their father. And at a very young age, suppose 10, when they get the age of 10, 12, they become a really skilled artisans. And when they achieve the age of 30 or 35, they are highly skilled artisans. So this type of accidents, this type of musculoskeletal problems due to which they are losing the job, it is actually demotivating the youngsters of the family, as a result of which this handicraft sector, which is our cultural heritage also, this has also been affected. And the artisans are becoming the burden for the family as well as a society, because if they are losing the workability, they are not being able to afford to buy, spend the economy in a certain way, because this type of community is a rural community where artisans are a particular sections are totally dependent. If you see that in southern India also, a particular handicraft is very much specific to a particular village. So this way it is also affecting the society. So economy, society, and health, which are the three pillars of the sustainability, which we usually say. So this is affecting the society like this way.
Okay, thank you very much. So now I call Professor Dr. G. Madan Mogan for a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Vigneshwaran, for giving me the opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank the Institute of Engineers Tamil Nadu State Center for giving us this opportunity to conduct this technical webinar in this Asia Book of Records. They are attempting to put this 100 hours of lecture in this particular TECHNO CARNIVAL centenary celebration event. Thank you, sirs, for giving us the opportunity. I would like to place on record the invited speakers, Dr. S.A. Binush, professor in the College of Engineering, Trivandrum, for his wonderful session and thought-provoking sessions on the role of ergonomics in design and operation of sustainable systems. That was the first session of that day. Moving ahead, we had second session by Dr. Sangeeta Pandit. Thank you, madam, for delivering the lecture on the topic ergonomics for sustainable design. It was thought-provoking, it was interesting. Moreover, we had a fruitful interaction discussions on these topics, which are going to take up in this particular students community and the engineers' mind. Probably they will be able to come out with many suggestions, project works, and all these things. Thank you, madam, for your valuable time. Moving ahead, I'd like to thank the organizers, the chairman of the IE Tamil Nadu Center, Engineer S. Kannan, FIE, Honorary Secretary, Tamil Nadu State Center, Engineer K.N. Sivaraju, MIE, and the Centenary Celebrations President, IEI, Dr. T.M. Gunaraj, FIE, then Organizing Secretary, Tamil Nadu State Center, Engineer R. Ramdas, for all of them for giving me this opportunity. Finally, I would like to thank our state Coimbatore Local Chapter Chairman, Dr. S. Shanmugam, who presided this function and welcomed the gathering. Then the Honorary Secretary, Dr. J. Krishnamurthy, for giving us this opportunity. Finally, I will be thanking our department HOD, Dr. M. Sendilkumar, for giving me this opportunity to take up. Then the participants for their patient hearing and the valuable suggestions. Finally, I would like to place on record the final note. Participants, please leave your feedback on the forms which has been circulating here for the certificates to be coming in. Certificates will be given by the Institute of Engineers State Center in due course of time. for which the feedback is very important for them for the entry of that. So please do fill up that feedback forms before you leave up this particular session. Thank you one and all for the valuable time. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. We can
Happy
leave the
opportunity.
sessions. Sarana Kumar, you can take over or we can leave the session.
Sir, okay, sir. Leave it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.